can't really think of that many. Even though I knew I was going to be talking about this, I didn't really have the hindsight to actually sort of, or rather the foresight to actually like research terms. But I guess off the top of my own head, I know jilling off as opposed to jacking off. And yeah, flicking the bean, which is kind of a pretty vulgar one that I don't actually very like at all.
Flicking the bean and strumming one out. And I think that's about it. Everything else is like more masculine, like wanking and I don't know, just general touching herself. They all seem to be less explicit than the masculine ones.
Around like 12, 13, like knew about sex before then, and you know, I discovered my vagina, so to speak, but I only really like properly started exploring it around 12 to 13. Like, I didn't know what the clit was until I was like 16. Like, no one, I knew what it did, but I didn't know what its name was, or whether it was, you know, actually a thing, or whether it was just me. Found my G-spot at some point. I was like, oh, what is this thing? You know, what is it doing there? Is that some kind of growth? What? And then later found out, no, that's a thing that everyone has. Well, everyone with a vagina has.
Yeah, I was always aware of the principles of touching myself, but I kind of became aware of it as an actual, like, fun thing to do. Sort of in my late teens, actually. I mean, all during my sort of younger teens, because I went to an all-girls school, it was kind of something dirty and associated with, like, hypersexuality or something like that. So when I sort of left school, which kind of coincided with me coming out to most people, that was when I actually became aware of it properly. So I was quite a late starter.
No, they never really sat down and were like, this is what this is how you do this is what that is, it's weird, it's completely normal. You know, I don't think they ever even really mentioned it. Like, my brother's now, like, that kind of age, and they're mentioning, you know, my mom's talking to him about it, and I'm just sitting here like, well, where was my talk? You know, you never even mentioned it to me, so it's a little bit unfair there.
No. Never. Ever. Even when my stepdad sort of walked in on me one time, and it was really awkward because we just kind of, like, made eye contact, and he was just like, she can't be doing what I think she's doing, and then I just kind of, like, pulled my hands out from under the blanket and started typing and be like, yeah, what do you want? but we never ever talked about it ever. It just wasn't mentioned, like, ever. Like, he jokes about him masturbating, which is a bit weird.
There's never any really serious thing. I think that's because, like, a lot of them seem to still view it as taboo, kind of. Like, as something you just don't talk about, like, or as too much information. You know, if you mention it, they're like, oh my god, why would you say that? You know, I don't want to hear about that. But then if I talk to them about, like, sex, like, particularly heterosex, that's fine.
This is, like, quite a difficult one, because with some of my friends, yes, and, like, I'm known among some of my, like, school friends as the one that has the vibrators and everything, and the one that's always in and just window shopping. But with some of my friends, it's kind of like they're quite. I don't want to, like, sort of generalise. Like, some of my friends are Christian and they will talk about it, but I have some friends who are Christian and they won't talk about it because they think that God is watching them and that it's something dirty and somehow unchristian. That is not what all my Christian friends think, because some of them are like, yeah, I'll go to church and then I'll go home and wank. Not so much recently. It's kind of an often covered ground. I mean, in things like lip service and sort of lesbian-based media in general, I guess they touch on it quite a lot. I mean, I don't really watch other things because I don't find the characters very appealing at all. Like, I don't watch straight people in soaps, so yeah. But I guess what comes to mind is that really awkward scene in Black Swan when Natalie Portman's character is there and her mom is just in the corner.
I quite like porn. Like, I don't watch a lot of it. When I do, I like the amateur stuff, just because it's more real, it's more genuine, it's better. But I really, I have a lot of respect for people who work in the porn industry, because I imagine it's really hard, especially now with, the internet, and porn's not really, a big thing anymore. You don't go out to, a dirty sex shop and buy a porno. You just go on RedTube. Yeah, I don't know, I don't really mind porn. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it can be degrading, but as long as the people in it are, all consenting and, of legal age and want to do it and be there, then for, legitimate reasons. And no, I think it's a good thing. I'm sure it helps people a lot, I know a lot of people who just can't get off without porn, and I'm sure they'd be much angrier at people if they couldn't have a decent wank every now and again.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience with it, really. I mean, within sort of, as you said, queer feminist, social justice communities and everything, the more progressive ones, I kind of think it's widely discussed. I mean, all kinds of masturbation are really widely discussed because obviously, there's a lot of intersectionality between issues in that community. The kind of feminism that we subscribe to incorporates, race and class and, trans issues and everything like that, and sort of non-binary identities. So we do talk about it a lot more openly and encourage people to sort of be familiar with their own sexuality. But I think in mainstream, in sort of mainstream culture and everything like that, sort of what most people are keyed into, I think people are catching up, and I think that, as sort of queer issues and everything become a bit more sort of important to normal people. Well, not normal people, sort of everyone in general. I think that these kinds of things are becoming less sort of, less forbidden to talk about.